And it's random vlog time. Again. Unusually soon since the last one. It's still being the same week that I did the last random vlog. But I was sort of planning on this random vlog well in advance, which I suppose kind of makes it not so random by definition, but either way. So today's random vlog is gonna be related to the Linux migration operation on the desktop PC. And I was planning on filming this vlog right around the point where it's basically good to go. And that's what today's random vlog, or a little less random vlog than usual, is gonna be related to. The very shortly upcoming Linux migration on the desktop PC at this point. First of all, I want to talk a little more about the PC game disk ripping operation, how that went, and a little discovery that I made regarding it. So, in the last random vlog that I filmed, I talked about how some of the game disks that I had attempted to rip on that day, which was Tuesday this week. So yeah, I talked about the game disks that failed to rip. Did some research into the games that did fail to rip. And it turns out the reason they failed to rip was a technology, two different technologies actually, that go by the names Safe Disk and Secure-ROM. And part of how those technologies work is that the game disks have bad sectors deliberately inserted into them, essentially acting as a means of verifying the legitimacy of the game disk. And IMG burn was obviously reading those bad sectors as bad sectors, as it should, logically. But you can get around the system. Like it was basically Safe Disk and Secure-ROM, preventing the disks from being read properly, and thus the ripping process halting before it even started. But you can get around those basically by telling IMG burn to ignore the read errors. And once it gets past the bad sectors, the rest of the disk is gonna rip absolutely fine. Made it take a hot minute though. Like, the disks that use either Safe Disk or Secure-ROM, I was ripping those for like an hour plus per disk. That's how long it ended up taking. Which is also partially why the whole PC game disk ripping operation took like 5 days for me. But now that that's done, now that those disks are all backed up, I can finally almost start the Linux migration operation on the desktop PC. One last thing that I want to do before I do is finish a game called PC Roll. Launched a few days ago. Bought that along with Absalom. Both pretty good games, I dare say. But anyway, yeah. I'm just finishing PC Roll while the desktop PC still has Windows on it. And with enough luck, I'll be doing the Linux migration just in time before Windows 10 goes EOL. And also related to the upcoming Linux migration, this is a 2TB SSD that I got a while back. So I'm gonna be swapping out the SSD that's currently in the desktop PC, a 500GB one. So that's gonna be effectively 4 times the space for stuff. Won't run out quite as quickly. And the 500GB SSD is basically like about 3/4 full. But then again, that's mostly because I haven't really taken it upon myself to uninstall any of the software I don't really use anymore, or delete the billion Doom wads that are on there that I basically only download it for the purposes of at least trying to complete their soundtrack information on Doom Wiki. Kinda makes it hard though when the authors don't provide proper soundtrack credits anywhere in the README or the WAD itself. Either that or I just can't identify the music track just based off of listening to it. But that's another discussion entirely. That's not really relevant to the topic of today's random vlog. I do clean my downloads folder pretty vigilantly. But yeah, either way. Kind of ashamed that it's taken me this long to get around to the PC, desktop PC Linux-ification. Like, if it wasn't for me procrastinating the whole CD and game disk ripping process that I still wanted to do while I'm on Windows, I would have installed Linux on the thing like 4 months ago. But with Windows 10 going EOL in literally like 2 days, that turned out to be a pretty strong motivator for finally getting around to that. And yeah. I'm getting kinda sorta hungry. Still got some leftover tacos that I'm most likely gonna have for lunch. But either way, that concludes today's random vlog. And the next random vlog I film is almost assuredly gonna be edited on Linux. If DaVinci Resolve cooperates. On the distro that I've planned to install. Anyway, bye.